procrastinated on the speech for quite some time, as some of you may know. So I'm excited to check it off my list finally. Okay. So Cleveland rocks, or does it actually live up to its reputation? It's a good question. It's a very good question. Not being from Cleveland, I hope to answer this for some of you today. So my name is Jonathan Brown. I'm actually not from Cleveland, if any of you didn't know that. I am originally from Oklahoma. I was actually born in Oklahoma. Moved around as a kid a little bit, lived in California, ultimately ended up in Texas. So I really call Texas my home. Grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, finished up elementary school, middle school, high school, and then ultimately went off to college in the Dallas area. Grew up there in what I like to call a blended family, which is really just a nice way of saying divorced and unremarried. But anyway, have two brothers. Grew up with two older brothers, so I'm the youngest of my two older brothers, and have two younger stepsisters that I grew up with as well. And they are all grown up like myself and have families of their own. So, very good. So how did I end up in Cleveland? That's really the question here. Like I said, I moved around quite a bit whenever I was younger. Oklahoma, California, Texas. So I finished my college career and needed to start my actual professional career right after school. And so I took a position with Dillard's Department Stores down in Houston, Texas. Let me preface that a little bit, because while I was in college, I met my beautiful wife. Okay, so yay! So we moved to Houston and we got married, and we have today my fourth daughter, my only daughter, but my fourth kid was born actually last Tuesday. So we're very excited about that. Thank you. So you know, if anybody asks, which I get a lot of this, is yes, I do have my hands full. Okay, very good. So I went to school in Texas, met my wife, got married, and we have the names of my children are Abraham, Alex Xavier, we have Benton, and then we have Meridian is the newest little girl. So I started my career with American Greetings in the Houston area, was there for quite a while actually, 4 years in Houston, Texas as an area supervisor, which is essentially a field management type of position. Was there for 4 years, after that I moved to Bentonville, Arkansas, so continue with my whole my theme of my life, I'm taking some more moves, moved to Bentonville, Arkansas, enjoyed the experience there. Walmart is your life there, by the way, which is very different from here. There's not a lot of Walmarts here in Cleveland compared to there. So I was there about a year, a little over a year, and then so now I'm in Cleveland. I moved to Cleveland in April, so this is my second year in Cleveland this year. Moved to Cleveland, and one thing about Cleveland is it does not have a good reputation. You tell people, you're excited, you get a promotion, you're telling people, oh, I'm going to move to Cleveland, I'm going to be a sales trainer, I'm excited about it. They're like, why would you want to move to Cleveland? They're like, there's nothing good to say about Cleveland. They're like, that's a terrible place, it's cold, it's dark, it's the weather's terrible. So there's really people have not a good perception. They say it's dirty. They really don't have a good perception of Cleveland. So there are some reasons that I've really come up with that people do not like Cleveland. And really the first big reason that people don't like Cleveland is, probably the biggest one is the sports teams. We have big sports teams, like we have the Indians and we have the Cleveland Browns. They can't ever seem to really win and have success. They get close a lot of times, but can't really seem to close it out. Another big reason is the weather. So the Weather Channel is big, on cable TV, and we get a lot of weather up in Cleveland and a lot of snow. So they talk about Cleveland quite a bit on the Weather Channel. People see that and they're like, I would never want to deal with that. We get some of the most snow of any city in the United States. People are just like, I just cannot handle that. And then there's this river catching fire, situation that we have. So the reason I like Cleveland is my personal reason is Lake Erie. I love Lake Erie, and I live close to Lake Erie. And my favorite part about the lake is taking family walks or bike rides to the lake. And what we do is we actually look for this. This is Lake Erie glass, and I'll pass it around I'll start with you. Lake Erie glass. I tell my kids, put your Lake Erie glasses on and start looking for this stuff. And so they search and they find it. And my wife's is really good at looking at it. Every now and then I'll get a piece. But we find this glass, and I have a lot of it. So what I tell people about Cleveland now is it's kind of like that glass. It starts off sharp. It starts off, you can cut yourself on the edges. But if you give it time, eventually you'll start to smooth out the edges, and they'll become more round, and they'll become this beautiful stone that you can admire and love. So if you're not a lover of Cleveland yet, just hang in there. You will rough around the edges, and in my opinion, yes, Cleveland rocks. Thank you.